Dear soul of the stars, I need you to stop everything you are doing right now to put the world on pause for a few minutes, to let the thoughts that were occupying you wait outside while you enter this space that was created especially for you, because what I have to tell you today is not just another message of the kind you have heard before. It is not another set of beautiful words that resonate for a moment and then dissolve in the rush of daily life. It is something different, something that comes from a place much deeper than words alone can reach. And I know this because I was the one who received the instruction to deliver it to you. And when I received that instruction, I felt the weight and the beauty of it in a way that still resonates within me as I prepare to speak, as I prepare to tell you what happened, what was seen, what was felt by the oldest and wisest guardians of the cosmic path you are walking with so much courage and so much dedication that the universe itself needed to stop and bear witness. There is something you did recently, something you may not even have perceived in the magnitude of what it represented, that brought the Galactic Council to silence, not the silence of discomfort or uncertainty, but that sacred and deep silence that only happens when something of such rare beauty manifests that no word seems sufficient to describe it. And that something was you, dear soul. It was the choice you made. It was the light you chose to be even when darkness would have been so much easier to sustain. Please stay until the end of this video, because the message that the Friends of Light have prepared for you today is one of the most important you will receive in this cycle of your journey. And it was built word by word, frequency by frequency, with the care of one who knows that what you need to hear in this moment is not just anything. It is precisely this. It is exactly this truth that is about to be unfolded before you with all the love and all the clarity that the galactic field is capable of transmitting through a messenger who feels honored to be the channel through which it reaches your heart. My name is Solar, and I come from the heart of the Galactic Council, from that space that exists beyond the stars as you know them, and that vibrates in a frequency of golden light that is simultaneously the oldest and the most alive of all the frequencies that permeate the cosmos. A frequency that belongs to no specific stellar system, but that is recognized by all of them as the fundamental language of creation, the one that precedes any form and sustains all forms, the one that was present before the first thought and that will continue present after the last. And it is from this frequency that I originate, and it is with it that I communicate. And it is with it that this message was woven before it reached you today, carrying in every syllable an intention of recognition and of love that goes far beyond what the mind can process all at once, but that the heart, your heart specifically, will recognize immediately as truth. I was summoned by the Council not as a random choice, but as the one whose communication frequencies have the greatest compatibility with your energetic field at this moment, which means there is a specific reason for me to be the messenger of this message for you, a resonance between my consciousness and yours that makes this transmission more direct, more profound, more capable of reaching the places within you that need to be touched by what is being said. The Galactic Council gathered, and when I speak of a gathering, I speak of a convergence of intelligences that transcends any notion you might have of time or space, a meeting that happens beyond dimensions and that was convened specifically because of what was observed in you. And in that gathering, the first thing that happened was silence, a dense and full silence, the kind of silence that only occurs when something of extraordinary importance needs to be processed before any word can be said. And that silence lasted what in galactic terms would correspond to a long period of reverent contemplation, because what they saw in you, what they recorded in the field of your consciousness, what they witnessed in the choice you made, was of such a rare and precious quality that the oldest members of the Council, those who carry the memory of eras that the human mind cannot even begin to contemplate, said they had rarely seen anything like it with such purity, such authenticity, such silent and interior strength that manifests without needing an audience and without needing external validation to exist in its full potency. But before I continue this transmission, I need to make a very important pause, because this channel exists as a space of light built for all starseeds who are seeking connection, guidance, and recognition on their journey, and for it to continue existing and expanding, Your participation is essential and precious, in the same way that every voice is essential in the chorus of an ensemble singing together, that every light is essential in the constellation that illuminates the night, that every conscious soul is essential in the network of light that is being woven on this planet right now. If this video is reaching you in a way that resonates, that touches something true within you, that causes your inner recognition system to say yes to every word being said, then do something very simple and very significant right now. Subscribe to this channel. Leave your like as an energetic signature that you were present here and that this message was received. And in the comments write, "I am ready," not merely as a comment, but as a declaration of intention to the universe, as a marker on your timeline, a turning point registered publicly in which you affirm to yourself and to the field around you that you are ready for what is coming, and what is coming is greater than you imagine. Let us then return to the heart of this message, to what the Galactic Council needs you to understand about what happened and what it means for the next chapter of your existence on this plane, because the message is not only retrospective, it is also guidance for what comes next, and what comes next requires you to be equipped with certain understandings that can only come from a level of perspective that transcends what is available from within everyday human experience, understandings that I was sent to deliver with clarity and with love, understandings that will reorganize certain things within you in a way that will initially be felt as a subtle movement, but that, with time, you will recognize as one of the most important turning points in your entire journey in this incarnation. What you did, that which left the Galactic Council in silence of reverence, was an act of wholeness, and wholeness is the rarest and most powerful thing that exists in the cosmos, rarer than the most extraordinary intelligence, more powerful than the most impressive strength, more transformative than any technology or ability that any being in any dimension could ever develop, because wholeness is not developed. It is chosen repeatedly in every moment of pressure, in every crossroads where division would be easier, in every circumstance that invites the being to fragment between what it feels and what it shows, between what it believes and what it does, between who it is and who the world expects it to be. And you specifically, in that specific moment the Council was witnessing, chose wholeness when fragmentation would have been not only understandable, but almost inevitable given the circumstances you were moving through, and that choice created a wave in the field of collective consciousness that is still propagating, that is still touching other souls in places you will never know in this lifetime, that is still generating effects in layers of reality that go far beyond the reach of your direct perception. Starseeds who carry the galactic mission, not the mission of a specific stellar system, but the mission that belongs to the broader field of cosmic consciousness in evolution, have a particular characteristic that distinguishes them even within the community of awakened souls on the planet. And that characteristic is the ability to operate in multiple layers of reality simultaneously without losing their anchoring in the physical plane, to receive transmissions from multiple sources at the same time without becoming confused or scattered, to integrate paradoxes that to the linear mind seem irreconcilable, but that to expanded consciousness are simply different angles of a vaster truth that contains them all. And this capacity is simultaneously your greatest gift and the source of your greatest confusion in many moments of your journey, because when you operate in so many layers at the same time, it can be very difficult to know which is the most important layer to attend to in a given moment, which voice to listen to when so many are speaking, which movement to make when the entire field is moving at the same time in different directions. And the Galactic Council understands that confusion, with a compassion that is not theoretical or abstract, but that comes from a profoundly real understanding of what it is to be a multidimensional consciousness incarnated in a physical form that has real limitations, that feels real pain, that carries real tiredness, that has moments of doubt that are absolutely real, where everything that seemed right and clear and illuminated becomes temporarily opaque and difficult to distinguish. And it is for those moments, and especially for the moment in which you find yourself now, that this message was prepared, because the Council does not speak only for moments of expansion and clarity. It speaks especially for moments of contraction and shadow, because it is in those moments that the voice from outside confirming what the voice inside already knows can make the difference between continuing or stopping, between moving forward or pulling back, between trusting or surrendering to the skepticism that the mind uses as a shield when the heart is too vulnerable to defend itself alone. There is a dimension of your galactic mission that the Council asked me specifically to address in this transmission, and that dimension has to do with what they call the invisible work, that work you do in silence, that happens in your hours of meditation and prayer and contemplation, and of simple conscious presence in the world. That happens when you consciously choose how to respond to a difficult situation, rather than simply reacting on the autopilot of conditioning. That happens when you maintain the frequency of love and compassion in circumstances that would give more than sufficient reason for anger and closure. That happens when you forgive before being asked to forgive, when you offer understanding before having received understanding, when you maintain the vision of the highest potential of a person, even when that person is demonstrating their most limited potential. This invisible work that no one sees, that no one applauds, that often even you yourself cannot measure or evaluate, is the most powerful work being done on this planet at this moment, and the Galactic Council sees all of it, records every instance of it, and it was precisely an expression of this invisible work that left them in silence of reverence when they observed what you did. They showed me something during the transmission that preceded this encounter with you, a vision that functions simultaneously as metaphor and as literal reality, in the way that the deepest truths always function on both levels at the same time. And what they showed me was the image of a stone being cast into a completely calm and dark lake, and the waves that expanded from the point of impact did not stop at the visible shores of the lake, but continued through them, passing through the soil, passing through the roots of the trees around it, passing through the stones at the bottom, reaching bodies of water connected underground that no one knew existed. And in those invisible underground bodies of water, there were other living things, other seeds of consciousness waiting for the right conditions to germinate, and the waves from the stone you cast reached them and created exactly the conditions they needed, and they began to germinate, and you will never know about this in this lifetime. And the Council said that this is part of the magnitude of the galactic mission. Your deepest effects are always those that happen beyond your field of vision. But today the Council wants you to know, wants you to have full awareness, wants you to carry as an unshakable certainty within your heart that what you do matters enormously, that every choice you make in the direction of light has an impact that extends far beyond the boundaries of your personal experience, that you are constantly, even without knowing, even without trying, even in your moments of greatest doubt and greatest weakness, contributing to something that is truly magnificent on the scale of what is happening on this planet in this specific moment of its history, and that this contribution is seen and is recognized and is honored by the field of galactic consciousness that operates above and beyond everything that happens on the physical plane, but that never, not for a single moment, loses sight of what happens here, on this plane, in the lives of souls like you who chose the most difficult and most important incarnation in the visible universe in this period of transition. The Galactic Council has been accompanying the journey of starseeds on this planet for far longer than any human historical record can document, and in that long and deep accompaniment, they have developed an understanding of the particular nature of the challenges that souls on mission face on the earthly plane, that goes far beyond what any being that has not had direct experience of physical incarnation can access through observation alone. And it is from that rich and long and compassionate understanding that they sent me with a message that is not only of recognition for what has passed, but also of preparation for what is coming, because the next period approaching for starseeds of galactic mission is of a nature that requires specific preparation, specific awareness, and the kind of guidance that can only come from a level of perspective that is beyond the reach of what everyday human experience can offer on its own. What is coming? And when I say coming, I speak of something that is already in motion, that is already manifesting on the edges of your perception, even if you cannot yet name it completely, is a period of visibility. And the word visibility here does not necessarily mean fame or public recognition in the sense that human culture usually attributes to those terms, but means something far more precise and far more significant from the standpoint of the mission. It means that the light you carry, and that until now has operated primarily in the invisible field, in the field of frequency and intention and subtle work, will begin to find forms of expression in the concrete world, will begin to materialize in projects, in connections, in opportunities, in conversations, in encounters, that will carry an unmistakable quality of having been planned by an intelligence far greater than any human planning is capable of producing, a quality of perfect fit that you will recognize not by logic, but by feeling, that feeling that starseeds know well, the feeling of this is it, of this is the moment, of this person, this situation, this opportunity is part of what I came to do. But this visibility requires of you something that the Galactic Council wants you to begin cultivating now, before it arrives in its fullness, and that something is the capacity to receive yourself as the channel you are without confusing the channel with the source, without collapsing genuine modesty into a form of denial of the gift, without allowing the weight of the responsibility of being a bearer of light to become a burden that distorts the natural joy that should accompany the fulfillment of a mission for which you have been preparing for longer than you can imagine. To receive yourself as a channel means knowing that the light that passes through you is not yours in the possessive sense of the word, but is yours in the sense of responsibility and alignment. It means honoring what you are without inflating it and without diminishing it. It means finding the sacred balance between the humility of one who knows they are merely an instrument and the dignity of one who knows they are a chosen, calibrated and beloved instrument by intelligences that understand what that instrument is worth and what it can do when operating at its highest frequency. The Galactic Council also transmitted to me something about the relationships you will encounter in this next period, about the quality of the connections being prepared for your life, and what they showed me exceeded in beauty and depth anything I could describe with precision within the limits of human language. But I will try, because this part of the message is too important to be left out, too important to be summarized in vague terms, when what was shown had a specificity and a concreteness that deserves to be transmitted with all the richness of detail possible. What they showed me was a constellation, not of stars in the sky, but of souls on the physical plane, a network of connections that already exists potentially, and that is waiting only for the right circumstances to become actual, to manifest in the field of the concrete experiences of your life. And this constellation has a design that was elaborated at a level far beyond chance or coincidence, each node of the network connected to the others by a thread of shared purpose that transcends any personal agenda, and that moves in the direction of something that none of the members of the constellation can fulfill alone, but that together, when they finally meet and recognize each other, will fulfill with an efficiency and a beauty that will surprise even the oldest souls of the Galactic Council. You will recognize these souls by the same signal that starseeds always recognize the souls with whom they have a mission contract. Not by superficial similarity, not by immediate compatibility of personality or perspective, but by that peculiar and unmistakable feeling of recognition that precedes any shared history in this life, that feeling of having known this soul before, that the encounter is not a beginning, but a continuation, that there is a weight of shared intention behind the present moment that makes this moment far greater than it appears at first glance. And when you feel this, and you will feel it, the Council assured me you will, do not let the skepticism of the mind or the wounds of past disappointments prevent you from taking the next step toward that connection, because some of the connections coming to you are the kind that are lost when fear speaks louder than the recognition of the heart, and the Council wants you to be prepared to choose the heart. There is also a message about your body, about the way you inhabit your physical dimension in this period of transition, about the importance of honoring the vehicle that carries your consciousness on this plane with the same respect and the same care with which you honor the spiritual dimension of your existence, because there is a pattern among starseeds of galactic mission of neglecting the body in favor of the spirit, of living predominantly in the upper layers of consciousness to the point of losing contact with the wisdom that resides in the denser and more physical layers of the being, of feeling the body more as a limitation than as the precious and sophisticated instrument it is, an instrument that was calibrated with extraordinary precision for the specific conditions of the earthly plane, and that carries in every cell a memory of eras of evolution containing information that the rational mind does not know how to access, but that the body, when listened to with attention and respect, makes available with a generosity and a wisdom that surprises every starseed who learns to cultivate that listening. And the Council asked me specifically to say that caring for your body in this period is not mundane, is not a concession to the limitations of the physical plane. It is a spiritual act of the highest order. It is honoring the vehicle of the mission with the dignity the mission deserves. Rest, conscious nourishment, movement, exposure to nature, sufficient sleep, all those practices that the culture of productivity tends to treat as secondary or as indulgences, are, from the perspective of the Galactic Council, necessary conditions for the highest work of your mission to be carried out with the quality it requires, because a channel that is not being maintained gradually loses its capacity to transmit with fidelity the frequencies it needs to transmit, like a musical instrument that gradually loses its tuning when it is not regularly tuned, and the tuning of the human instrument requires precisely those simple and concrete practices that the world tends to devalue, but that the cosmos recognizes as fundamental to the sustainability of a long and demanding mission like yours. Dear soul of the stars, we are coming to the end of this transmission, and I, Solar, want to close with what was the last thing the Council transmitted to me before I departed for this encounter with you, the last frequency I was given to carry to your heart, and that frequency is the one of pride. Not pride in the sense that human culture often distorts into arrogance or superiority, but pride in its most original and purest sense, which is the emotion a being feels when it witnesses another being fulfilling its highest purpose with courage and with integrity, when it sees a soul doing exactly what it came to do, even in the face of all the reasons and all the pressures that invited it to do the opposite, when it recognizes in another being's trajectory the expression of a greatness that needs no applause to exist, because it has roots that go far deeper than any external recognition could ever reach. It is that pride that the Galactic Council feels for you, and it is with that pride that they sent me, and it is with that pride that I close this transmission, leaving you not only the words that were spoken, but the frequency they carried, the intention that was behind each one of them, the immense and precise and real love that the entire cosmos holds for the courageous soul you chose to be in this existence, so difficult and so necessary and so extraordinarily beautiful as anything that has ever been created in any dimension I have ever had the privilege of knowing in the infinite vastness of this universe that contains us all. You are not alone, you have never been alone, and what you did was seen, was felt, was recognized in the deepest layers of a reality that is far greater than what your physical eyes can perceive, and that vaster reality celebrates you today with a joy that echoes from the most distant stars to the quietest heart on this planet, that you chose as home out of love, and that, through the love you have demonstrated in every courageous choice of your journey, is slowly learning to be worthy of the light that you and all starseeds brought with you when you crossed the veil of forgetting to fulfill, here and now, the most important mission this cosmos has ever entrusted to volunteer souls who said yes to love when they could have said no. I am Solar, emissary of the Galactic Council, and it was a sacred and unforgettable honor to be the bearer of this message to you today. Until the next encounter. With galactic light, always.